The bathroom fan is running. You can hear the motor, and a tissue may even cling to the grill. But the mirror stays fogged. The ceiling remains damp, or water keeps collecting on the walls. That contradiction tells us something important. A fan turning on is not the same as moisture leaving the house. The useful question is not simply, does the fan work? It is, can moist bathroom air travel through the entire air path and discharge outdoors? That path has several parts. Replacement air must enter the bathroom. Moist room air must reach the grill. It must pass through the fan, travel along the duct, open the exterior termination, and finally leave the building. A restriction or disconnection anywhere along that route can reduce the result you get in the room. Start at the grill. A tissue held near it is a useful screening check. If the tissue is pulled toward the grill, the fan is creating some suction at that point. But this test cannot measure how much air is moving, and it cannot prove that the air reaches the outdoors. A noisy motor and a clinging tissue are clues, not a complete diagnosis. Before doing anything else, observe the pattern. Does the mirror clear and do wet surfaces begin drying after the shower? Or does moisture remain for a long time? Is the problem consistent? Or does it change when the door is open? Are the same ceiling or wall areas repeatedly staying wet? Those observations help separate a general ventilation problem from a clue that may need a different inspection. If the grill is accessible, turn the fan off and clean only the parts the manufacturer says the user can safely clean. Dust on the grill can restrict the opening. Do not open energized equipment, reach into wiring, or remove components that the manual reserves for service work. Next, repeat the simple tissue screening check with the bathroom door in its normal position. Then try it again with the door slightly open. An exhaust fan removes air, so other air has to replace it. In a tightly closed room with very little space under the door, the available replacement air path may limit the fan. If the pull at the grill changes noticeably when the door opens, that is useful evidence to give an installer or ventilation professional. It does not by itself tell you the final airflow. Now trace the discharge side without entering an attic, climbing onto a roof, or opening a wall. From a safe, ground-level location, identify the exterior termination if it is visible. With the fan running, an accessible wall termination may show a damper opening or another visible sign that air is reaching it. Not every termination can be safely seen, and the absence of a visible sign is not proof of a blockage. It simply means the outdoor discharge has not yet been verified. The United States Environmental Protection Agency emphasizes that bathroom exhaust should go directly outdoors, not into an attic or another indoor space. If the route is unknown, inaccessible, or appears to end indoors, stop at observation and use a qualified professional. Moisture moved from the bathroom into a concealed space has not been removed from the house. The fan label is another starting point, not a performance certificate for the completed installation. The Home Ventilating Institute describes fan capacity in cubic feet per minute. Its consumer guidance uses at least 50 CFM for bathrooms up to 50 square feet and roughly 1 CFM per square foot from 50 to 100 square feet. Local requirements and the actual installation still matter. A laboratory or certified rating does not account for every condition in a particular home. Installed airflow can be reduced by a dirty grill, a sticking backdraft damper, an undersized duct, or a long or restrictive route. It can also be reduced by sharp bends, crushing, kinks, a blockage, or a disconnected section. You do not need to guess which one is present. The goal of the homeowner checks is to identify where the evidence stops. There is also a separate condensation possibility. Warm, moisture-laden air moving through a cold duct can sometimes contribute to condensation. That possibility depends on the route, temperature, insulation, and installation. A damp mark near a duct root is not enough to declare the cause, and concealed duct conditions should be inspected rather than assumed. Here is the decision tree. If the pull at the grill is weak in both door positions, begin with the accessible grill and fan information. Then have installed airflow evaluated if the problem continues. If the pull becomes noticeably stronger with the door slightly open, the replacement air path deserves attention. If suction is present at the grill but outdoor discharge cannot be verified safely, the fan, duct, damper, and termination need to be considered as one system. If there is good evidence of airflow from the room to the exterior but surfaces still dry slowly, look beyond the simple fan-on question. Operation time. The amount of moisture produced, cold surfaces, or another moisture source may need evaluation. None of those should be diagnosed from one symptom alone. Recurring dampness, peeling finishes, or visible growth means moisture control still needs attention. The EPA's central mold guidance is straightforward. Controlling moisture is the key to controlling mold. Cleaning a surface does not correct a ventilation fault or another moisture source. The takeaway is simple. Listen to the fan but test the air path. Begin with safe observations. Treat the tissue check as a screen rather than proof. Compare the label only as a guide, and verify outdoor discharge without entering unsafe areas. If the evidence points into a concealed duct, roof, wiring, or a larger moisture problem, bring in the appropriate qualified professional. And in the next Home Systems Explained episode, we will apply the same rated versus installed thinking to a different restriction. How a better HVAC filter can still reduce airflow when the system is not designed for it.